Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Denise with Creative Love. And today we're going to do the Santa's Magic Key. Now, there's a lot of versions of this out here. I wanted to do a special take on my version, and I wanted to mention the lack of the use of the word chimney. So, what I have found by reading comments in a craft group is that while some people don't have a chimney and they found great use for the use of the Santa's Magic Key, there are people who do have a chimney, but they would still like to use the Santa's Magic Key project and make a special tag for their children. So this is my take on this version, and I hope you like it. All right, so the first thing you want to do is I created free files for you to use, whether you have any type of cutting machine or even if you don't have a cutting machine and you just want to cut out with scissors. I've also created a free PDF file in my resource library so you can follow along with this project by cutting out your own paper for this project. All right, so here we go. So you want to go to createswithlove.com, go to the resource library, and enter the password. If you don't have a password, you can sign up for the password right here. So I'm going to go ahead and enter the password. And we're going to go to Santa's Magic Key Files. It's going to download the zip file down here in the lower left-hand corner. Go ahead and go to the area where your computer goes to the download files and you will find your zip file. I'm just going to go ahead and open it. And I'm just going to double click. And I'm going to use the SVG file. These are all the different formats that I'm providing. If you want to cut it out by hand, this right here, I use Adobe Acrobat as my PDF file source, so that's why it says Adobe Acrobat. But this right here is the PDF format if you want to cut out with your hands. If you want to use it on your Cricut, you would use an SVG, and whatever other file format you will need, you can choose from there. So I'm going to simply take this SVG and I'm going to drag it onto my desktop. I'm going to close this. I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay, so I'm going to open up Design Space. I'm going to select New Project. I'm going to click Upload. I'm going to click Upload Image. And I'm going to take that SVG file that I saved to my desktop and simply drag it. When it turns green, you can just let go of your mouse. I've already prepared this to be a print and cut for your Cricut. I'm going to go ahead and just put Christmas. There we go. And click Save. And then now you want to click on your project here, your uploaded file, and then click Insert Image. Now, the first thing you want to do when this comes into Design Space is you want to ungroup, okay? Basically, all of this is all grouped together. You can tell that because this is all highlighted in kind of a pinkish type of color. So the first thing you want to do is ungroup it. Now, we don't need this. This was my image that I created in Adobe Illustrator when I was making this file so that I made sure that I stayed within the parameters of a Cricut print and cut. So since we don't need this, see, we can move it over here and just click close. We're not going to need that. Now, this down here, there's 3 tags. You can use one if you want. If you want to divide it, I'm going to go ahead and do 3 as 3 will cut in the printer diameters. So as you can see here, they're still grouped together here. So one more time, I'm going to ungroup. And the reason I'm doing this is so I can pull this bottom bigger tag. I'm just going to select it there and hit my right arrow key and move it out to the right. This is going to be my background piece of paper. I'm going to use scrapbook paper, and I'm going to make 3 other copies, so I have one for each one of my keys. So I'm going to duplicate 2 more times. Again, if you're just doing one key and one tag, then you only need one of each one, and you can delete whatever you don't need. Now, I'm going to use, like I said, scrapbook paper for each one of these. So I'm going to click the top one and I'm going to change the color. Now this is just to remind me, so when I go to load my mats, I will know which color scrapbook paper to load onto my virtual Cricut mat that I feed into the machine. So right now they're white. You go up to here. This is where you change your color. It's hard to tell because it is just white, but go ahead and click on that white square. And I'm going to choose red for that one. I'm going to click the second one up, go back to the white square, and I'm going to choose green. And then this one, I'm just going to go to the same square and choose maybe a gold. Okay, now these are all ready to go. The only thing you need to do is, because as you see, these three keys or these three pieces, they all have the word cut by them. So they are going to cut out. But these here, see how these say cut? Each one, the green one, the red one, and the gold one. These also say cut, but they're in their own little individual group. So what you need to do to make it a print and cut is to take your mouse and just kind of rubber band around all of these. Once they're all together in one group here, you want to click on flatten. It's on the bottom, flatten. Now what that does is it turns these three tags. It's kind of hard to tell. There's a hole right there and a hole right there. So this you can feed into your printer. See, it shows us a cut and a print, and these are going to cut. So now your file is ready to make. Go ahead and click on Make It. And this black line is the registration marks that it's going to also print. I'm going to go ahead and click on Continue. There's nothing that we need to do to these. These are ready to go. We don't need to mirror them or anything else. So go ahead and click on Continue. It's going to hook up to my maker up here, but you could also use a Cricut Explore for this project as well. I'm going to click right here to send to my printer. I want to remove the bleed, so go ahead and click off so you don't see the green button. And then I want to use the system dialog, so I'm going to click this one so I show the green. And notice right here it says important. After clicking print, your print dialog may be or may appear behind your Design Space application. So if you don't see it pop up, just minimize your Design Space and you'll see it behind Design Space. So I'm going to go ahead and click on print. Now make sure that you feed whatever paper you're using. I'm using a 65-pound, kind of a parchment, pretty light brown color, but be sure to load whatever paper will feed through your printer for this part of the project. So I'm using this type of printer right here. I'm going to click on Preferences. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to change the print quality of my printer. And now yours may look different than mine, right? Different printers are going to show you different printer preferences, but they're all very similar, okay? So if you go to the quality of your print, mine shows normal. I'm going to click the drop down box and change it to best. That's the only change that I need to make. My letter size is 8.5 by 11, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then it'll keep circling here until I go ahead and tell it to print one more time. Okay, so I'm going to click print. It's going to go ahead and print in my printer, which is just next to me. While I'm waiting for it to print, what I can do now is select my cardstock, right? Or what type of material I'm using for this project. Now, all the cardstock I'm using, they're all 65-pound weight. So I'm going to click on 80-pound, okay? I don't need to add more pressure or anything like that, but this is what I'm using. So you go ahead and use Browse All Materials if you don't see yours here that you've previously saved as a favorite, but just select whichever one you're using. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and click on Medium Cardstock. Okay, my printer is done printing. I will show it to you here in just a moment. I want to make sure I have everything ready. So right now, basically, it's waiting for me to go put my printed cardstock onto my Cricut mat. So I will meet you over by the maker. Alrighty, so here is my printed version. This is the paper that I was telling you about that I'm using. It's kind of a, well, it is a 65-pound weight paper. This is one of my favorite papers to print on. I will link it down in the description below if you want to use the same type of paper. The cool thing about this paper is it also comes in this pretty, like a white color, but it has little confetti specks. In fact, let me go ahead and show you. I have one here that I made that shows the confetti specks in it. Kind of hard to see on a small project, but it is just cute enough to where you can see it. So here's one of my completed Santa's Magic Keys. But if you can see in here, it's got little specks of red and gold and green. There's some more specks in here. It just gives it a really cute look. Okay, here's kind of a plain background so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so let me just go ahead and set this aside here. Okay, now let me take this actually off of my mat. This is the background piece that I'm going to use. I want to cut what we printed. So I'm going to line this up right where that white line is. And if you get it a little bit off, it's okay because the printer or the Cricut is going to read the registration marks and it will cut according to these marks here. So it's okay if your paper's a little bit crooked. All right, so go ahead and load it into your mat. Click the load button. And then we can click the flashing C button, which is the go button for cutting. And it's going to go, like I said, it's going to read the registration marks. And then it's going to cut out each tag and each hole of the tag. So I don't know if you can see it through this camera here, but it has a light on and it's reading, with that light, it's reading the registration marks. Once it goes through and reads it all the way around, it'll go through and cut. In the meantime, while that's cutting, let me show you real quick. If you have the PDF version, if you don't have a cutting machine, this is what it looks like when you print it out. You will get 3 tags, just like we're making today. And then I've put my website down here in case you need it. And then this is the blank tag. It's a little bit bigger than this one. So like I showed you on this example, I cut out one that's a little smaller that has it printed on here. And then you can use this. You can use wrapping paper. You could take this, use this as your tracer and put it maybe on a cereal box, cut it out, and then cover it with either fabric or wrapping paper, or just use scrapbook paper, whatever construction paper, whatever paper you have on hand is going to be great for this project. Okay. Okay, so let me take this aside. So this is the one that you would use to cut out with your scissors. All right, so we're done cutting our tags. I'm going to click the unload button. Okay, looks good. I'm going to turn my mat over. That helps me prevent curling my paper. And here are the 3 tags all printed out so cute. Let me move that there, take off my little dots here. And then now I'm going to go ahead and load this paper, which I'm using for the background part. Now, I'm only going to make 1 tag today, but I wanted to show you, especially if you're wanting to make these to sell or you want to give multiple of them away, I wanted to make sure that you had all 3 and know how to cut 3 at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and load this. And what it's going to do now is just cut that little bit bigger tag out of my scrapbook paper. Okay, I'm unloading my mat. It's cut my 1 background tag out. And I mean, use what you have. This is paper that I've had, let me see, somewhere it's got a year. Oh, I've had this paper since 2016. So this is happens to be authentic. The collection is Happy Christmas 5 paper. You can go to their website. It's a product of the USA. It's by thewoodconnection.com. Anyway, I have a lot of different scrapbook pads, and this is exactly what it came from. But basically, I just wanted to show you to use the paper that you already have at home. It's a great project for that. So here is my reversible scrapbook paper. And then I'm just going to take one of these here. This is how quick this project will come together for you. You line up the holes right here, and you've got some thread. I just used twine and regular baker's twine. Cut a piece of each, right? Just cut it in half, however long you want. There is no right or wrong to this project, and you want to simply bring it up from the bottom. That's my preference. You can do it the opposite way. Like I said, super easy project. Thread your twine through that loop and just pull it taut. There's your tag. And then grab your key. I love these because they remind me of a reindeer. I will also link these below, but you don't have to get the reindeer keys if they happen to be out of them or you have a preference. Just use any key. I mean, if you didn't want to get this type of key, just get a regular key and paint it with red fingernail polish or green fingernail polish or use your imagination for this project. So one of the reasons why I love the project so much is because it's so versatile and you can do so much with it. So what mine says is Santa's magic key with a sprinkling of magic and a burst of holiday cheer. This magic key works only one day a year. Simply leave this key on Christmas Eve anywhere I can plainly see. Love from Santa. And there we have it. There is our project. It's completely done. You can tie this around a doorknob. You could hang it on the Christmas tree until you're ready to use it. You could put this next to Santa's treat plate or a reindeer's treat plate, whatever you like. Let me show you some of the other versions just so you can see. I used satin ribbon for these, one of each color, and then just doubled it. I've got a just plain red is beautiful with another type of a satin ribbon with a little bit of gold trim on it. I've got this one here, which is, looks like ivy on one side and a plaid on the other and some green ribbon. I've got a plain green. See how nice that looks with plain green with red ribbon. And then I have another one that is with striped paper on one side and it's got little Christmas trees. So just be careful when you're using a printed that goes a certain way. Make sure you line it up correctly on your mat so it cuts in the direction that you would like. So this worked out really cute. All right, so there is your super easy Santa's Magic Key project. I hope you enjoy it and your kids get a lot of joy out of it too. Remember to create with love and take care. Bye.